Right, here we go. Good evening, learners, and welcome to our final live, the final live of 2025. So, yeah, if you're excited for this one, let me know. Let me know. Tonight, we are looking at preparing you for the grade 10 Prac. Okay, so I'm going to be going through section by section. I'm going to be showing you bits and pieces of what they would most likely be asking you, and also just demonstrating the various skills that you need to know. So we'll probably be here for an hour max. I mean, it's not a huge amount we need to go through, but enough so that you have all the skills necessary. And if there's anything else, just let me know in the comments. If there's any particular questions, anything you maybe not too sure about, just let me know. Okay, so the paper should and I can't guarantee this for each and every school, okay, but you should get a section that deals just with general skills, like file and folder management and things like that. Then we generally go on to Word, um, Excel, and there could be a little bit of HTML in as well. Okay, so with HTML, for those who are, if you know that you are going to be tested on HTML, just let me know what your questions are around that. Okay, but I know in grade 10, it's just basics of HTML. Okay, so the first thing we want to look at is navigating folders and views. And so I'm going to take this off my screen and put up another one. All right, so I've got like two screens in front of me, so forgive me if I'm not looking directly at you. Okay, and by the way, let's just see how many of my learners are here. Just say hello in in the comments there, so I can see that you are actually here. Okay, right. So first things first, we're going to be looking at navigating folders and views. Now, here is just a typical example. We've got our data files, our normal data files, and I'm just going to open up any one of these. See one that's got, okay, here's one that's got a few more files. Okay, so we know Lucky's here. Hello. Right. Now, they might ask you to change the view. So let's say, for example, this is question one, section one, whatever it is. And yeah, okay, there we go. Hello, 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 hello. Good evening, good evening. Ah, Liam is here. Okay, so have a look on top here. We've got our sort. Now, this is where, and you can see I've just opened the folder, right? I've just opened the folder. So I'm going to sort, and I can sort everything in here. At the moment, it's sorted by name, but I can sort by date. I can sort by type. I can go more. I can sort by size, date created, ascending, descending. I can also group everything. Please, this is important, and I'm going to tell you why. When I make a change here, how am I going to be able to give you evidence? Like how are you, in fact, how are you going to be able to give me evidence that you've done that? We're going to do that by means of a screenshot. So usually what will happen is you will have another document, and let's just open up Word. Let's say I've got a blank document over there, and they'll tell you to take a screenshot of what you've done and paste it in another document. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to press print screen on my keyboard. I can use the snipping tool as well. Then I drag it over my section, which it won't show you there now. I go to my document, and I'm simply going to paste. And now I can resize that, because they might have it like sectioned and tell you, listen, you need to take that picture and paste it into that particular block. So you just resize it, and then that's fine. No, Ella. Theory, we did already. So have a look on the channel. There is a video covering theory. And like we went through a live Q&A on that as well. So do go and check that out. Okay, so that's now opening our specific folder that's looking at our views. We've also got the view tab up here. Now this one is important because of viewing it as a list, viewing it with a details pane, and showing the file name extensions. These are the two. These are the two. File name extensions and hidden files. So please go and check on those. Ella, yes, all the lives that I do are recorded. They are up on the channel. So go and have a look at those. It's all there, like everything you need. Okay. So we looked at our views. We looked at sorting out everything here. Here's another one. So let's say I'm going to take that view and I'm going to go details. Do you see these tabs up here? Name, date modified, type, and size, right? If I right click anywhere here, can you see that the ones that are listed there in front of you are ticked off, right? They've got a little tick next to them. So if I don't want to display one of them, I can take the tick out. I can also add to this as well. So they might ask you to do this. They might ask you to then sort it according to date modified. They might ask you to group it by size and then take a screenshot of everything you've done and paste it in that document. Okay. Let's add view show. Okay, we've got file name extensions and hidden. Okay, so we've got all of those. Okay. The other thing here, just to take note of, is the file size, please. Right? They can ask you for the size, and I just want to show you this. If I right click on any one of these files and I go to properties, then I've got my size here as well. So I've got size, I've got my attributes, read only and hidden as well. And if I go to details, let's have a look at this. If I go to details, do you see what we have here? Let me maybe just take myself out. I'm sure you can still hear me. Right. So I can scroll down, and do you see the info that I have here? Right? You can see the various info, the size, the word count. What else do I have here? I've got the author. That's always important. So yeah, ton of info. This is your metadata, by the way. Okay, are we all clear with that? That is navigating folders and views. So let me know in the comments, guys. Are we okay with that section? Any questions on that? I'll wait for you to give me the go ahead, so we can take this piece by piece. Okay, right, let's go on to the next one. So now we're looking at file and folder operations, and I'm just going to run through a number of items here. Okay, so Ella saying that's fine, Lucky saying it's fine, good. Okay, so the first thing is, and I know this seems like basic stuff, right? But this is what we're doing. We're going through this for a reason. So I'm going to right click there, I'm going to go new, and I'm going to go folder, because I just want to create a new folder. And I'm going to call this media. Okay, so we've got media over there. Now, you might be asked to create a new folder, but bear the following in mind. If they ask you to create a new folder, then it means that they want you to put things into that folder. Okay, so don't just think that they're asking you to create a new folder for fun. No. They are doing that for a reason. Okay, for a reason. So here, for example, I've created a new folder. Now they say to me, they want to, and they're not going to say cut, guys. They're going to say move all, and let's use an example, move all the video files into the media folder. So how do I do that? Well, I've got to look through my list here to find the media files. In order to know that, we need to see the file extensions. Okay, So remember, make sure that you have shown your file extensions. You can then see of this list, I've only got one media file. And I'm just going to right click on it, cut it, right click onto that folder. I'm going to go paste, because at the end of the day, what is move? Move means to cut and paste. Okay. So we've renamed the folder. Well, we've created a new folder. We can rename a folder. We're just going to right click on that and go rename. And maybe I'm going to call it media number 1. Okay. So that's renaming a folder, moving certain file types into the folder. That's a typical question. Then they might want you to compress, and I did this with the grade 11s as well. Okay, so Ella, when it comes to this, don't forget when they talk about moving, it's basically to cut and paste. So they want you to be able to show the skill of being able to find a certain type of file, then being able to select them, cut them, and paste them. So practice that. All right, so we want to compress. Now, if we want to compress, all I've got to do on a folder is right click on it. Just right click. There we go, compress to, and I say zip. Right, so now what it's going to do, it's going to compress that folder. Obviously, this is a fairly large file. And once it's done, it's going to confirm the name for me. Okay. All right, maybe this was not the, the best one to choose, but okay, we'll see it through. It's then going to create a name for me. It's going to ask me to confirm, do I want that name? Do I want to change the name? And then once I'm done, I just hit enter. What it's going to do, it's going to compress it into the same folder that I am in. If you want it somewhere else, you can always cut it and paste it somewhere else. Okay, but let's just go through this process and then we can move on to the next. So we've looked at renaming the folder, created a new folder, moving files. Do you see there? You see there? So I can still go and change that. But for now, I'm going to confirm it. I'm going to hit enter and it's done. Yes, I do. You can reach out to me. Okay. Then, okay, deleting files. I'm sure we're all okay with deleting files. And again, here's my tip. They're not just going to ask you to delete everything. They're going to ask you to delete certain files. So delete all the Word documents, delete all the picture files, delete all the video files. So know your file extensions here with this first question. Okay, we've created a new folder. We can do the copy and paste. Here's one. Create a shortcut to a file in another location. Now, when we create a shortcut, all we're going to do, we're going to right click on any blank spot in that folder. We're going to go new and we're going to go shortcut. Okay. Now we just need to know where to go to. And they're saying here in my example that I have, just create a shortcut to any file in another location. So I can browse, I can just go to the desktop and say, okay, well, there's a file. Yeah, grade, no. The thumbnail, yes. Next, finish. And just like that, there's my shortcut. So I'm going to right click, new shortcut, navigate to the file or folder, whatever they want. Don't need to change anything else. Next, finish. Done. Okay. Right. Are we all okay with that before I move on to the next section? Any question on what I've just done? Or are we all okay? Okay. Question. So when my teacher asks, let's say, rename the file to, and then separate, and then a separate question is to move the screenshots into the file. I rename the file, but I don't get the mark if I don't move it. Okay. So if they say that you need to rename the file, that is one mark. The next one is to take a screenshot of what's in that file. I renamed the file, but I don't get it. I would have to see the memo on that because something doesn't sound right there. Okay, because if you're renaming the file and you're taking the screenshot and you're putting that into another file to show what you've actually done, then you should be getting the marks. Okay, so yeah, not sure what's happening there, but you should be getting those marks. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, that's all fine. Right, let's go over to Word. And I'm just going to choose another folder with some Word documents and just leave it there. Right. So in Word, let's see if we can cover some basic items. And let us go to, let's open any one of these. Okay, let's open up hoaxes. Right. So here I've got my Word document. Let's see some of the things I want to do. What comes up regularly is the following. Go into the Layout tab. Why? Because of these three: margins, orientation, and size. Okay, so typically they'll ask you to do that first. Today with the grade 11s, that's exactly what they did. They had to change the paper size, make sure it's A4. Then they had to go and change the orientation, make sure it was portrait. And with margins, they're not going to ask you for normal margins. They're going to ask you to do some custom work. Right? So there we've got our custom margins. And they will tell you, grade 10s, which ones they want you to change. So they'll tell you if they want you to change the top margin, the bottom margin. Have a look at the gutter here as well, because they might ask you to do that. Yeah, that's really all that they can hit you with there. Okay, so those are the basic items. Sorry, it doesn't look like my charger's in here. Okay, there we go. Oh man, sorry guys. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that's the basics that they ask you for at the beginning. Oh, then your styles. So I'm just going to go to this first paragraph. I'm going to go to the Home tab. You can see up here I've got my styles, right? Now, they could ask you to modify a style. So they could say to you, well, go to the strong style, go and modify that, make a few changes here, and then click OK to save those changes. Usually, why they will ask you to do that is because they not only want to see if you can modify a style, but can you take that modified style now and apply it to something else? So let's say, for example, I had to go into the strong and I had to change the font, the font size, the color, all of that, right? Now they want me to apply it to some text. So I'm going to go over here, just highlight that, and then go to strong. And there you can see, not only have I modified the style, but I've applied the modified style. No. This is what you're talking about. So when I go to the paragraph over here, you can see I've got line and page breaks. Keep with next, keep lines together, that widow orphan control. That refers to paragraphs that are like split over 2 pages, or where you've got a paragraph heading and then the paragraph text underneath. So if you select these, it will keep the heading with the text underneath. If we say keep lines together, if it wants to split over 2 pages, it moves all the text together. Okay, so it just depends on what they're going to be asking you. But that's what that is there for. You can see by default, you've got the widow orphan control, and then the other 2 options as well. Okay, so styles modified, that's fine. Now, let's just insert a picture quickly. So I'm going to go to this paragraph, and I'm going to see if I can quickly find a picture. Oh, Lincoln with his soccer. Okay, let's use Everton over here. Now, do you see how this image is displayed? So let's just touch on 1 or 2 things. Number 1, with an image, when I click on it, I get another tab here on top, picture format. I can go and crop. What's most important is when I want to resize to an exact size, I need to go and take the tick out of lock aspect ratio. If I don't do that, this is what's going to happen. So they tell me they want it to size 6 by 6. And can you see it doesn't do it exactly? However, when I take the lock aspect ratio out and I say make it 4 by 4, can you see? It does it exactly. Okay? So that's what we need to know there. Now, the other thing is I can resize it, but can you see when I want to move it, it's like giving me, doesn't look right. That's because I haven't over here selected my layout options. So I can click on that and I'm going to choose maybe, you can see in line with text or with text wrapping. So let's say I choose that one. Can you see what happens? Now when I resize it, let's say I want to make it very small so that it can go into the middle here. Can you see that it does that? Okay. So remember, I clicked on that, I went to layout options, and I chose the corresponding one. If they don't tell you which one, you can choose any one, but other than that, they will actually tell you which one to choose. Okay. Also, I just want to say this. They can ask you to crop the white space. Now you might ask, sir, what is white space? Or this other space around here. Let's say, let me just go and crop, and I'm going to do this just to create some white space. So can you see when I click on there, can you see all that space around there? That's my white space. So now they say, crop out all the white space from the picture. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to crop it as closely to the picture as I possibly can. Done. Okay, guys, I hope you are still with me because I'm not seeing any movement really in the comments here. So Great Danes, where are you? Otherwise, I'm assuming that you're all okay. Okay. All right, no problem. Okay, so we've done the margins, we've looked at the layout, we've looked at cropping, we've inserted a picture, we've changed the text wrapping as well, we've applied a style, we've modified a style. Sure, look at Lucky. We're chilling, sir. I hope you're going to chill tomorrow in front of that PC when you're writing that. Paying close attention. Okay. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. This is the last live. Like this is it for 2025. There's nothing after this. All right, let's continue. We're still in Word. Because for the most part, folks, you're only going to get like Word and Excel. And like I said, you might get HTML. Okay, so we're going on to paragraph and character formatting. Now, I'm not going to go through changing a font and the font size and the font type. Folks, by now, you should know how to do that. Okay, like those are basics. You didn't get to the end of the year without being able to do that. Okay, so let's go further down in our document. Let's go here. Let's go here. Now they want me to change the line spacing. So I want you to see this. If I highlight this paragraph and I go up over here to my paragraph section, I've got normal line spacing, right? But if I go to line spacing options, what I see is the following. I've got indent. So that's where we spacing things from the margin, the space between the margin and the text. That's your indent. With that, you get a first line indent. That means it's only going to indent the first line. And my grade 11s made the mistake today because they didn't listen, they didn't read. So what happens is they chose the first line indent when they were supposed to have just done a normal indent on the entire text. Okay, right. Then the spacing over here. This is spacing before and after my paragraph. This option over here, this line spacing multiple and single and all of that, that is the spacing inside the paragraph itself. So if I click OK, can you see it spaced the text inside the paragraph? Okay, I hope we are all together. This is the spacing before the paragraph, after the paragraph. Then I can also go, if I go here to my borders and I go to borders and shading, I can apply a border. And please, this is typical. This is very typical. I can go and I can say, well, I want a red border. I want it to be a thick border, but I only want it on the left and right side. You see where I'm going over here? You just select or deselect which ones you want, apply to the paragraph, click OK, and there you go, guys. I have a border on either side. You can have a top and bottom as well. You can also go back into borders and shading, and I can apply shading only to that paragraph, click OK, and there we go. I've done line spacing, paragraph shading, a paragraph border, done. Done. Okay, so the way you do that, question for when you're done, how do you change the orientation just for one page? Because when I do it, it applies to every page. Okay, so for that, you need to go and do your section breaks. Now, the first thing you're going to do is just turn on your paragraph markings, right? We can go to the end of the first page, and we go to our layout, we go to our breaks, we go to a section break next page, and then what should happen? And let's see if this is what you maybe have encountered. If I go landscape, let me just, okay. So you see what happens, right? So that's what's maybe happening with you. All right. So let's go back. So if I go over here and I say, okay, let's go back to our breaks. In actual fact, I should have done it on the top of this page. And I'm going to go breaks, section break, go to my first page. Now you see, because that paragraph is there, it's still linking that. I just want to remove this. Okay, and there you can see I've removed it again. So please, that is going to be with your section break. You're going to have to put in a section break, and then now that this section is broken up, you can then go and you can change that orientation. Okay, so it's just a matter of where you input it. Okay, let's take that out. Tyler, how do you do a, I'm assuming that's line space of 20. So if they want a specific line space like that, then I'm going to go over here, line spacing, and you're going to go exactly, and then say what it needs to be. That's it. That's it. All right, let's see what else. We've got our shading. Highlight a phrase inside a paragraph only. So they might want you just to, let me just take this off. Highlight a particular line of text. Add a paragraph border. Okay, we've done that. We've added in a picture. Now, please remember, we also have picture effects. So if I click on the picture, I go up to picture format. Here are my styles, but here are effects. All right, so these are all different sort of effects. And you can see how nice that looks, that I can apply to my particular image. Okay, so just know where to go for that. Here's another one, page numbers. Page numbers. So I go into my footer, and I'm going to go page number over here under header and footer. Bottom of the page, guys, the typical one is page X of Y. There it is, and they'll tell you whether they want it on the left, in the center, or on the right. close that. There it is, done. Okay, so that's our footers. They can also ask you to insert something in the header. Please, over here under header in the insert section, you can see there's document information. So they might ask you to insert the author, the file name, the file path, whatever it is, even the date and time into the header. Okay, so that's done. Then change the spacing before the paragraph. We've done that. Let me just show you what this looks like. So if I highlight this paragraph and I go and I say indent from the left 0.7 centimeters, can you see what it does? It moves all the text. However, when I go and I do the same thing, but I say first line indent, you see it only moves the first line of that paragraph or whatever I've selected. Okay, are we all clear on that section? Let me know, are we all clear on that particular section? Just going to give you a minute or so just to let me know. Okay, are we all still okay? Yes, yes. Okay, good. Good, guys. Now we move on to letters and tables. So you can see I'm just breaking it down section by section for you. Okay, we said we want to be able to change the. Let me just get a new document here quickly. Let's just get a new document. Cover hoaxes. Okay. So there we have ours. Now, what are they asking? Okay, we've done changing the orientation, add text in the header. We've done that. Clear all formatting from a line. Okay, so let's say this paragraph. And I've got bold, italic, highlighted, all of this, right? They can actually ask me to clear the formatting. And I would have to then go, I would have to then take all that off. And you can see over here, clear all formatting, right? The highlight is different. I'll have to go and I'll have to take that highlight off, okay? But the other formatting, please, it's up here with that eraser, clear all formatting. Okay, we've done that, bullets. Let's see if we've got a list here. Can find something that has a list of some kind. Otherwise, we'll just type something. Okay, so here we go. Let's just use this. Now, yeah, I've got a list of items and I want to turn it into a bulleted list. What am I going to do? I'm just going to highlight it and I'm going to go up here and I'm going to create a bullet list. Okay, I can also highlight all of that and turn that into columns and say I want 1, 2, 3, 4, but I don't have the option here, so I've got to go to more columns, then say, okay, I want 4 columns, I want a line between, there's my width, but if I have this ticked here, it means that each one is going to be of equal width, and I'm going to click OK. Now I have a bit of a problem because now maybe this doesn't work for me. Okay, so now I want to say, okay, well, I want Joburg on top. So I can go and I can say, I want a column break, Durban. I want a column break there as well. Cape Town. I want a column break. That's how you can actually take the text inside your column and move it to the top of another one. Okay, I hope you are with me. Are we clear on that column break? I think let me just do another one. Let me do another one. Let's see. Okay, so there's some bullets. So here's a list. Remember, I can ask you to do this. Take that, turn it into a bullet list. Then I say to you, make the bullet a symbol, make it a picture, right? If I ask you to do that, you're going to go define new bullet. You're going to go picture. You'll navigate to whatever's in your particular folder. And from there, you can choose that, pop that in, and there's my bullet with using a picture. Okay, done. We've done that. I'm just running through the whole list. Okay, so just understand a section break and a page break. A section break gives you a defined section within your document. A page break will break everything to the next page. Okay? What? Lucky. If I go here and I say layout breaks and I go section break, next page, that creates a different section in my document. Okay? And I can see that when I go to my paragraph marking, I can go and see that there I have a section break. However, a page break will break whatever I'm doing and take it to the next page, but it's not breaking it into a different section. So why do I have sections in my document? Because maybe certain sections of the document I want formatted differently with different page numbers, with different headings, as opposed to the rest of the document. Okay? Whereas a page break is just ending the page. Okay? Please just remember the difference between those two. Okay, let's close this one. And let's see if I've got some text I can use. Okay. So let's say I want to take this text and I want to turn this into a column, and I want maybe 2 columns. Can you see how it converts there? If I go more columns and I say, okay, I want 3, I want a line between, I can click OK. And there, now this is where the column break comes in. So I look at this and I see, no man, but I want this text here, the quick brown, to start at the top of the middle column. So I click in there, I go to my breaks, I go to column break, and there you can see that's done, right? So now I can say, okay, this last text I want over in the final column, I'm going to do the same thing, bring in another column break, and there I've now created 3 columns with a line in between and moved my text to where I wanted to appear at the top of the column using the column breaks. That's important. Right, the next one. Let's see if I've got something like this, because we want to convert table to, well, text to a table. Let's see if I highlight all of this here and I go to table and I say convert text to table, it will populate everything I need here, and I can really just click OK, and it puts it in a table. I should then also be able to go back to my table, and let's see if they'll allow me to do that now. No. Okay, so I'll need something else for that, but that's how I take my text to a table. Okay. Next one. Let's use a different document. Find and replace. So with find and replace, just bear the following in mind. I'm going to click on replace here, but I want you to see this. Let's say I'm looking at the word price over there. Okay. And I say, I want to find the word price and I want to replace it with the word cost. I can do that. I can say replace all, one replacement, okay, and there you can see it. Everyone's happy. Right. Now I say to you, replace the word cost with the word price, but change it to a color, make it bold, change the font type. How on earth am I going to do that? I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click on replace. I'm going to say go find the word cost. And I want you to replace it with the word price. But look at what I do now. I'm going to go more. I'm going to go format. I'm going to go font. Then I'm going to choose a color, underline style, underline color. I'm going to change the size. I'm going to make it bold. I'm going to change the font type. Once I've done all of that, okay. Now, do you see all the formatting here? So what it's saying is take this word and replace it with this word and add all that formatting. I say replace all, one replacement, click OK, close, and there you can see the word price. So find and replace can not only find a word and replace it, but it can add formatting to that as well. Okay, so let's just turn that into a table quickly. Now, without tables, folks, for the most part, you just need to be able to know how to work with your table. Click on it, go to table design, change your particular design. You might need to shade it, change the border style, any of those type of things. Okay. You might need to have certain borders or not. Depends what they ask you, and your table layout as well. So yeah, I want you to look at this. From the left, I've got delete, and I can delete a particular cell. So let's see what it does here. If I just highlight in there and I say delete cells. Now, do you see it says shift left or shift up? So let's just say shift left. Let's click OK. Done. Can you see that just that one cell has been deleted? I can, however, go and I can select an entire row and I can delete the whole row. I can do the same to a column. And now this thing is looking horrible. Okay. However, I can do the same to add. So I can click on this here. I can say insert row below, insert row above, insert a column to the left, insert a column to the right. I can do all of that. I can also merge. So let's say I want these two cells to appear as one cell. I can go up here. I can say merge cells. And do you see? It's now one cell. I can also go to that same one and I can say split the cell. And I can say, well, split it into 4 columns and 1 row. And there you can see how it's split that into 4 columns and 1 row. Right, if I go over here and I say split table, can you see what it does? Everything above what I've highlighted, it'll split that from the rest of the table. Okay. Obviously, I can also go, I can change the alignment, I can change the text direction, I can sort things in my table. There we go, convert to text. So if I highlight that, separate text with tabs, yes, and there. So please remember that now. I want you to remember that. I went to my text, I went insert, table, convert text to table. When I want to do it the other way, I'm going to go into my table, I'm going to highlight everything in my table. I'm then going to go to table layout and go convert to text. Just leave it as is, click OK, and there you can see it's converted it from a table to text and from a text to table. Okay. Right, that's our next section done. Are we all okay with that? Any questions on that? Any questions on that? Akil, they will. They will tell you. They will tell you. In most cases, it doesn't matter because if it shifts to the left, then there's nothing else to move from the left, so it'll just be blank. If you went from the bottom like up, like shift cells up, it would do the same thing. So if it's just one cell like that and it's on the outside, it doesn't really matter, but they usually tell you. Okay, any other questions on what I've just done? Yeah, are we all together, guys? Because I'm seeing 17 people in the live here, and I know my class is almost 30. So, but we'll see tomorrow. We shall see. We shall see. Oh, I love it when people are like, no, we don't need to be there. No, we don't need to be there. I'm okay. I know what to do. Does that sound familiar? All right. Next up, let's go with the next one. Okay, so we did the find and replace. We did the columns. We're almost done with Word now. The last section, just last 2 or 3 things of Word. We did alignment. Ella, then you're going to be golden for the 25th. I mean, it's only the 18th now. So you can use this live. I've got another video on the channel that deals with all the tips for the Prac, and then there's a playlist. There's old papers. So yeah, go and do that. Go and do that. You will be fine. You'll fly through that paper. All right. They also mentioned for us here to see to the alignment. So remember I said to you, we're going to highlight this over here under table layout. There's my alignment. Okay. Please remember what is vertical and horizontal. So if I say to you, I want it aligned to the center horizontally and vertically, that means it must be in the middle of the cell, like this one over here. Click on that, and that is now supposed to be vertically and horizontally in the center. Okay. Right. It was that. We did the merge. Let's see if we can find another one. Just one more item. Just on, okay. Okay, so here we have another table. We can change our design, whatever we want. Okay. Now I want us just to highlight all of this. And I want us to go to table layout, and I want us to go to sort. So you can see here that you can sort the items in the table by, and in this case, it doesn't have like headings on top, but it's just got the names. So let's say I'm going to sort it by Mr. L. Hartog. And it's going to be ascending, and I'm going to click OK, and everything will adjust to that. So in other words, that's how I do the sorting inside of my table. Obviously, your sorting can be based on whatever the question is going to be asking, but please just highlight your table, whatever it is that's in there, go to sort, go and check, what you need to tick off, and then go click OK. Please read the question. Oh, please read the question. Okay, so that's Word. Anything else on Word, guys? Anything else on Word? Are we all okay with Word now? Please let me know. Let me know in the comments. Are we okay with Word? Okay, Malika's saying she's fine. I can do HTML. That's fine. We'll see how far we get. For you guys, you don't have to worry with HTML. Yep, we're going to go into that now. Okay. So HTML, I'm not going to go through everything. We're just going to touch on certain things. You know, I can't answer that. Thanks, Kazlin. Thanks, Kazlin. Okay. So in Excel, please, you obviously need to know the basics, guys, and I'm not going to go through all the basics. We need to know how to rename our sheet, how to delete a sheet, insert, change the tab color. Those are all the basics, right? We need to remember, obviously, how to merge cells. So when I highlight that and I go merge and center so that I can pop in any text I want to. Things like shading the cell. No, man. Shading the cell, adding borders, right? Next to that, adding borders. Those are all things that's fine. Also, when it comes to a heading, if a heading is too big for a particular cell, you know that you can just go and do the wrap text, and then it will make sure everything fits in. So it will take it to the next line and the next line in order to have it fill in. Okay, then yeah, I've got some numbers and they want me to format that to currency. So how do I do that? I'm simply going to highlight that. I'm going to go up here to number and I'm going to change this to currency. And there's a difference between currency and accounting. So please read the question as to whether they want it to be currency or accounting. Okay, then there's alignment as per usual. So there's the horizontal alignment, there's the vertical alignment. So please, you'll have to choose both. If I say I want the contents of the cell or this range aligned horizontally and vertically. Okay. Then another one that they like to ask is the text orientation. So my headings, they usually like me to change the text orientation, the orientation of those headings. Sometimes they'll ask me to shade that as well. And maybe change the color of the text. Okay, that's horrible. No. All right, they might ask me to do that, but those are the simple things that usually come in. Okay, let's open up two worksheets here. You can, when you right click on here, you can hide worksheets. Okay, you can hide worksheets. You can also unhide them. And they'll tell you what's hidden and you click OK. It's as simple as that. Just right click, hide it, right click, unhide. Then please remember, if you get just want to why am I typing letters? Okay, so usually if a number is too big for a cell, it will display hashes. Okay, in this case it's not. It will usually display hashes, and that simply means that whatever's in the cell is too small. Sorry, it's too big for the cell. So we have to just expand it, and then that will be fine. Okay. Unhide, fixing that size. Then the most you're going to be expected to know. And let's just go with a few numbers here. It's things like sum, min, max, average, and let's just say count A. I'm just going to say normal math. Okay, right. So let's just go and have a look so we make sure we know how to do this. What's our sum going to do? If we go equal sum and we open our bracket, we highlight all of this, what's it going to do? It's going to add up everything. Okay, simple as that. Equal sum, that's what it does. Equals min, what is it going to do? It's going to give me the lowest value in this range. Done. Equals max is going to give me the largest number out of whichever range I'm choosing or selecting. Okay. My average, please have a look at this. You see that I have to type in the whole word average. So equals average. Okay, I'll do that. Then equals count. Now have a look at this. What does equals count do? Because if I highlight all of that, it tells me 9. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so what does count A do? Let's go see. Count A, I'm going to highlight the same range, and it gives me the same figure. So how does counting count A give me the same figure? Okay, let's have a look at this. I'm going to change it to the letter T. Yeah, you see what happens now. So count now suddenly only counts 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because equals count counts the number of cells that has numbers in it. Count A counts the number of cells that have numbers and letters. Simple, right? When I say normal math, I mean things like taking the contents of one cell and multiplying that by the contents of the next one. Or taking the contents of one and subtracting it from the contents of another, right? That's what I'm talking about. You can be asked to do that. If we go equals count if, so I'm going to go formulas, insert, and I'm going to look for the count if. Now, can you see it's asking me, Dimitri, now you're done. You've done prac, you've done theory. Well done. You have completed CAT in high school. I hope the paper went well. So your range, you're going to choose the range, right? So let's say I'm going to highlight all of that. And then what is the criteria in the range? Let's say I'm looking for the number 56. And I'm going to click OK. You see that? So I'm counting in that range the number of times the number 56 comes up. Maybe I'm counting the number of times a particular surname comes up, or the number of males, or the number of grade 11s. Any of that. It's a range and a criteria. Range and a criteria. Okay. Let's get another one. I'm busy finishing up now. There's not a huge, oh yes. Okay. Let's go to this one as well. So here's another one. Don't forget there's count blank as well, right? Ella, yes. So adding things, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, same story. Don't forget the difference between rand and rand between. Equals rand will give you a random number between 0 and 1. Equals rand between will give you a random number between whatever you choose. So in this case, between 5 and 10, including 5 and 10. Okay, so we can look at one or two errors. The first one, like I said, is the one where you have those hashes. Okay, so I'm going to go through three basic ones. The hashes, we just need to resize the cell. The other one, let's say we've got 56 and we've got 5 over here. And I put in equals, and I'm taking this cell and I'm going to multiply it by this cell. Okay, so I get my answer, right? Now, I delete that cell. Okay, let me see. Let me change it to 0. No, it's the divide, sorry. So let's say I'm going to divide that. You see there? There's my one error. And that comes up because I'm trying to divide by 0. So if I change that to, then you see that corrects the error. So that is the div/0 because it's trying to divide by 0. What if I'm saying here that I want to divide this by I don't know, 25? Okay, it's doing the same thing, right? Because it's applying that to a reference that's not even there. If you get the hash ref, ref, it means it's referring to a cell that either doesn't exist or to a cell that has nothing in it. Okay, and you simply correct it by changing the reference. That's it. Oh yes. In your views over here at the bottom, your second one is where you can add headers and footers. So there I can add a header like the current date. Then I can add a footer here and say I want the number of pages. Okay, and then I can go back. So that's how I can modify my headers and footers in Excel. Okay, so remember what I said to you? The main 3 errors is you're dividing by 0 and you just change that number. Then the value, which means the value is not correct at all, and then the reference to that. So with the value, there's probably an issue with the data type. With your ref, that could be a missing cell. Oh, good, thanks. Good, thank you. Yes, that was the last thing that we need to touch on, is the charts for this evening. Ella, my scope says use absolute mixed. Okay. Let's touch on that and then charts, and then we are done for the evening. So let's use this one that I've got here. Now, conditional formatting means that you are going to apply formatting if a condition or conditions are met. So how do we do that? Let's use netball. I'm going to highlight all of this. I'm going to go up to conditional formatting, and there I've got a number of rules. So let's say I want to highlight all of those teams that are in netball that are greater than, I don't know, 10. And I'm going to change that to whatever fill I want. Click OK. There's my conditional formatting. All right. Here again, going to highlight here with the cricket. Conditional formatting. Let's say the top 10%. Click OK. There's my conditional formatting. So Ella, that's what they mean by the conditional formatting. They will tell you what to apply it to. They will tell you what color they want, all of that. But you just need to know where to go to. Okay. Then absolute cell referencing is this. Usually this will be a cell reference. Okay. If we want that cell reference to remain in place, we have this. Those dollar signs indicate that that must not change. So here's an example. Let's just create something. And we're just going to use the same numbers. And let's say we wanted to multiply this by 10%. Okay, I'm just going to change a few of these. Okay, so now I put in a formula and I say, okay, let's take whatever's in this cell and we're going to multiply it by 10%. Beautiful. Life is good. I have my answer. Okay. But now we use autofill. And then this is what happens. Oh no. Why? Because have a look at this. It went E42, H41. E43, do you see how it's going down? But we want the reference to remain to this 10%. So that's where we go in here. We're simply going to press F4 on our keyboard, and that's going to pop in the absolute cell referencing. Now, does it change the answer? No, no. But when I pull it down and I use the autofill, now it's constantly referring to H4. Sorry, H41, 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 H41. Can you see that? So, Ella, that is what is meant by the absolute referencing, and we're mixing that also with normal referencing and absolute referencing. That is what they are talking about. Okay, and then lastly, what did we say? It's going to be our charts. So let's see. We've got chart examples here. All right, so this is typical. Here's some data, and I'm simply going to highlight my data, and I'm going to go insert, and there's my charts. So if I go to recommended charts, can you see it brings up a number of charts for me? So let's look at two. I'm going to bring in a clustered column, and I'm also going to bring in a pie chart. In fact, a specific one. So let's go pie. Let's go 3D pie chart. Now, first things first, I want to take this to a new sheet. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to rename this. I'm going to call it charts. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the entire, I can even cut it. And I'm going to paste it there. And I'm going to bring in my other one. And I'm going to paste it there. Okay, so folks, there are a number of things you can do. I'm going to use the bar chart quickly, well, column chart. When I click on that, can you see I've got chart design on top? So I can change the design. That's the first thing I can do. I can also change the colors, right? With this plus over here, it's going to allow me to change the axes titles, the chart title, right? You can see I can then go in here and I can type in whatever I want to. What else do I need to do? My data labels. Can you see they weren't there? So they can ask you to add data labels. And you've got a number of options. This data callout is a typical one. I've got my data table as well over here. If they want to add it, my grid lines, I can take it away. I can leave it there. I can pop in a legend if I want to, and a trend line. So all of those things are under my chart elements. I can also then, if I double click on it, get this format chart area section where I can go and fill. I can say, okay, I want to fill the background. And I want to fill the background with a picture. And then I can insert a picture from file. I'm just going to say that. And again, let's just take this one. And there we go. I've done that. I can then change the transparency as well to say I just sort of want it faded into the background, and that's done. Okay. I'm going to move that to the side. I can do the same with my pie chart. I can double click on the chart title, change it to whatever I want. I can then go and change the size of the text as per normal, guys. I can do any of that. Okay. Again, I can go and look at things like my chart title, my data labels, my data call out, the legend. I can do, yeah, any of those. Okay. So it just depends what it is you actually want to do. You can see we can add borders. Like I said, we can fill that. We can add effects to that as well. Yeah, effects to the text. There are a number of options. Okay, there's my styles as well, and you can see how that changes things. So yeah. I think that's it. I don't see anything else that we really need to look at. So let me know if there's any other questions. Because other than that, I am done. I think that is it for us. That is it for us. Okay, great things. Let me know if there's any other questions. I'll give you a minute or two, and then we'll wrap up our session for this evening. I think that really covers all we need to know, like we did with the prep. Yeah, lovely. Okay, Keegan, thank you, sir. Big fan over here. Lovely to have you here. Oh, Seth Danko. Thank you, sir. Cat Resources. Don't forget, in the description, I will have the links to past papers, but I'm sure you guys are already doing that. So there we go. Great tens. Thank you very much. That is it for CAT for the year. And folks, here on Education with Mr. Hambry, that is the last live for 2025. There's so much more coming in 2026. So good night, God bless, and I'll see you next year. All the best with this very last CAT exam. 100% tomorrow. Okay. Bye, guys.